Hello, I'm Daniel Sketchler.
And I'm Callum.
We've been friends for more than 10 years, sharing lifelong passions such as film and music,
But most importantly, football, through the ups and the downs.
the celebration and the heartbreak.
However, he's a Blue Nose.
And he's a villain.
This is the Second City podcast. Good evening, Dan.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Week 3. We said it last week, but it's really a thing now. This is proper now. It's a hat trick already.
Yeah. Is it the
proper.
perfect hat trick, though?
Right foot, left foot, head earth. What? I guess. I guess. I think, yeah, no, but it's been fun. We're enjoying doing it. And it's kind of been interesting as well because obviously just hugely kind of defining times for our clubs, it feels like. It
Yeah.
feels like a time to have been doing the podcast, to start the podcast, especially seeing as both clubs have started for the most part so well as well this season. It'd be interesting to see how the podcast evolves when we inevitably decline. Probably Blues
I,
first.
I can't imagine having to have done this maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. Like
No,
when we were like struggling in the championship, going, "Oh, I've got to do the podcast."
yeah, true. And I mean, the last 7 or 8 years for Blues, really, it's probably been. We said last week it'd been our best start to the season in 15 years. I think it's still the case after 4 games, which is remarkable, really. After 4 league games. Uh, but yeah, so this week we're going to talk about obviously Blues had a league game last weekend against Plymouth. We played in the Cup. We're recording this on Wednesday. We played in the Cup last night. Obviously, Villa have had a really eventful week in the league and also return to Europe. So we'll get into all of that and we'll talk a little bit about some transfer news and then look ahead to this weekend's games. If that all sounds good with you, Cal.
I don't have any complaints. If you are
No.
listening to us for the first time, or it might even be your second or third time, but do subscribe on whatever platform you're on, whether that be YouTube, Google, Spotify, whatever it is. Remember to subscribe, and if you can, give a 5-star rating. And to all the friends and family that are listening and watching, I can see the analytics, and I know you haven't done any of those things, so do it.
Yes,
Otherwise, there'll be no Christmas cards this year.
no Secret Santa.
Yeah.
Although first we need to get into what we're wearing, which is the feature we do every week. I'll wear a blue shirt, obviously, as the Blues fan. Callum wears one of his Villa shirts, one of his many Villa shirts, and we just talk about our memories from that time, and that season when we got it, what year it's from, and so on. So start with you, Cal, because it's
Yeah.
very. Let me guess first. Can I see the sponsor? NTL. So it's a grey.
NTL, yeah.
It might be like Enkelman era. That the badge is very old. I want to say 2002. Oh,
Oh, Dan,
am I right? Am I correct?
you are on the money.
Oh,
2001,
really?
2002 away
Oh,
shirt.
okay. No,
So
I
this was
wondered if
my
it was a keeper.
Yeah, I mean, it does have very keeper vibes about it, actually. I mean, it's not as an away shirt goes, it's not actually that nice, but it's um
Nostalgic.
yeah, it's retro, isn't it? It's 2002 retro, crikey.
Oh,
Um
sure.
but yeah, no, this was my dad's shirt actually, and I think he was going to get rid of it, and I was like, oh, don't throw the shirts away, Dad. Don't do that.
Absolutely, no, absolutely.
Because there's another shirt I've got which is a remake upstairs, which I'll wear eventually, and Dad had the original of it and got rid
Right.
of it, and it was very, very sad.
Fucking man.
But yeah, so this is from 2001, 2002. So back when John Gregory and Graham Taylor were our managers. It's not a season I really remember at all. I don't remember this season. I remember some of the players that played for us. So it's the year that we signed Olaf Melberg, Gareth Barry was in the team, Juan Pablo Angel, Darius Vassell, Jay Lloyd Samuel. Thomas Hitzelsberger went out on loan to I think it was Chesterfield this season. So like this is like a lot of players that I knew sort of growing up, but just as they started to arrive at Villa
Yeah.
Park. Yeah, we won the Intertoto Cup in this kit, Dan. So not in this kit, but this season we won the
I'm
Intertoto
surprised
Cup.
it's not framed on the wall in that case.
I mean, we got knocked out of the UEFA Cup on away goals, but we won the Intertoto Cup this season.
That's very nice. I'm surprised your dad was considering throwing it away because even if you didn't want it, these kits can be quite rare now or can be worth quite a bit?
It was a long time ago, so it wasn't so much before, like, because now like the retro kits have sort of become their own thing, haven't
I
they?
suppose,
And
yeah, fashion thing.
10 years ago, nobody wanted them really. It's just the way that
Right,
it's
that's
gone.
true.
But yeah, no, I really like it. It's got the thing about the sponsor that's kind of different as well. It's like that felt like 3D
Yeah, I was
felt
thinking that
letters
by looking at it. Yeah,
from back
I
in
can
the
like
day.
imagine it's
So
not these sort of like tapered on sponsors that we have now.
yeah, but actually, well, I haven't really worn the shirt because I don't like. I guess it suits me a little bit, but if we release this now, I'd look at it and go, bloody
Yeah,
hell,
yeah, no, I can imagine.
what on
Yeah,
earth is that?
but that's like the same with us. We're like, I mean, if some of our like Triton showers kits were released now,
Yeah.
like everyone loves them now because they're from like the mid 90s. If they released them now, I don't think people would be into them at all. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. I
As
don't
these
remember.
years go, it's a really comfortable shirt, and I was pleasantly surprised. So
Fair enough. I don't remember, like you say, sort of 2001, two. I don't remember them seasons at all. But like you say, I remember players that maybe started in that era, maybe signed that season, then were there for a couple of years or a few years. But cool. I am wearing a much more recent, far from retro. I'll
I'll,
let you guess
I'll,
first.
I'll be honest. When you sat down, I looked at that shirt and went, I don't recognise that one.
Oh, really?
But the sponsor on it um, implies that it's fairly recent. So I'm going to say is it the lockdown kit? Is that the away kit for the lockdown season?
No, it's the season after. So 2021, this would have been released.
Is this the
Uh,
home shirt which had the collar, the white collar?
no,
No.
again, it's the season after. The
Ah.
the home shirt this year was the kind of tiger pattern, the whole one.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
I actually quite like. I actually quite like it. But in fact, I wore it to the game last night. But
Mm.
yeah, this is our away kit, classic yellow for Blues.
Mm.
Blue trim on it, which I really like, blue pinstripes. And this is the Lee Bowyer, the full season Bowyer had, which is a weird season because it started like fantastically. Like we won away at Sheffield United first game on I think it's the Saturday night, beat Luton 5-0, had a really good home win against Derby on a Friday night. And it's weird how this season just completely fell apart. And I think we finished 17th or 18th in the end.
I remember you got
Um,
thumped by Blackpool towards the
yeah,
end of the
yeah,
season,
yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah, gosh, yeah. Mad. That was only just over a year ago. How things. But I really love the kit. Obviously, yellow away is like we had I'll wear it on another podcast, but we had a yellow one a few years earlier as well.
Yeah.
I feel like blues yellow away is like blues, it's kind of iconic to blues.
Mm.
But I kind of like that we don't have it every season. It feels more special when it's every like, sort of 4 or 5 years. I think it's a lot more special and people really appreciate it. So yeah, not a great season, but unreal kit. I was more than happy to. The only thing that annoys me about it is you were mentioning how the sponsor on your Villa kit is like the felt thing.
Yeah.
Obviously, my sponsor is not like that. It's Boyle Sports from like a couple of years ago. But the badge is also like stuck on. It's not like sewn in.
Oh, is it the silicone badge?
Yeah, it's kind of it just looks I wouldn't be surprised if it would come off if you just
Mm.
washed it over and over again. But thankfully the following season, so like last season they went back to the sewn on badge. That's the only thing. It's like a minor nitpick. It's the only thing about it that kind of annoys me. But yeah,
It's funny you
kind
say
of
that though, because I find with the silicone badge Villa ones, because we had a good period of having them. Like they're really nice on the shirt because they can do a bit more detail, at least on the lion and what have you.
suppose,
But
yeah.
I always had that worry of like that could come off in the wash. Whereas the embroidered ones, I think they don't. This one's quite a good example of one, but some of them don't maybe look as good.
Yeah,
But
sure.
it's knowing that it won't come off in the wash.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, like my I'll wear it on a podcast again before it eventually happens. But on the Boyle Sports kit from the Jude Bellingham season, like the letters on that are all starting to come off now and stuff, which is a bit annoying. But it is what it is. But yes, that's what we're wearing anyway. Conference League happened first, so should we dive into that first, and then we'll get on to Blues at the weekend?
Yeah, so a nice, comfortable return to Europe for us. That was
Yeah, I
um,
mean 5-0, 5-0, 5-1.
5-0. Lee Johnson's lost his job off not so much off the back of it, but they lost on the weekend as well, so he's gone.
Yeah, are you shedding tears over that?
Huh?
Are you shedding tears over?
Well, we were looking forward to giving him some good banter at Villa Park on Thursday. So
Obviously, I don't know the guy. He seems quite. Obviously, he's never glad to see anyone lose their job. Obviously,
yeah.
he's a bit. He's. I don't know.
He's a character.
If he came to Blues, I don't think I'd be jumping for joy. I don't think he's like
Yeah.
my favourite manager. But yeah, anyway.
But yeah, we were pretty comfortable, to be honest. The only annoying thing I think to come out of that game was Emi Martinez's little knock. I think it's small calf injury. It seems that it's pretty much been the way all year, is that we've come out of a game with an injury of some description. So, but no, Ollie Watkins scored a hat trick. He could have probably had about 5, to be honest. He had a lot of chances, but the goals he scored were of top quality. Leon Bailey got a goal, his first Aston Villa goal away from home, which was, I think, will be quite a big milestone for him. Especially because we were talking before, like his away performances aren't great. But he played very well. But man of the match by a mile was Luca Dean. And for a player that I think 6 months ago, if he was on his way out, he'd have gone, and he started the season very, very well. And to be honest, he ended last year very well as on top of it. He's a player that has actually really improved. He's looking more like the Luca Dean I think we expected when we signed him under Steven Gerrard. And he really struggled under Gerrard, as did so many players. But no, to lose his place in the team and to fight the way he has, and he's been really dependable. It looks like he's going to stay now, which is good. But obviously, the problem that I think the club have with him is not his ability, because he's a good player, but he is like our second highest paid player on like 125 grand a week.
What, Luca Dean?
Yeah, Luca Dean is he's either first. I think Coutinho is probably our highest paid, and then he's second on well over 100k, which for who is your backup left back?
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
Is ridiculous. So, but if he's going to be the number 1 left back, and his performances mean that Alex Moreno can get himself back to full fitness. We don't have to start risking him. So, it's all positives in that regard. And we've got the second leg, which we'll talk about a bit later, coming up to tomorrow or yesterday or today, whenever.
Yeah, and we were saying last week about how much would Emery rotate the team and stuff.
Yeah,
it seemed like he played mostly his best team.
Yeah,
and obviously when you win in such style, it's almost like the fatigue isn't going to be an issue really going into your game at the weekend.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously you sort of ride the crest of the wave as well. So, because we talked about last week about it shouldn't be, but it could be a potential banana skin, and we had to take it seriously. While we should have beaten Hibs, the cup competitions always throw up a rogue result here or there. I mean, the Carabao Cup results from last night and tonight will show that. So, no, we were professional. We didn't. What's the phrase I'm looking for? It's like we respected the opposition. And we got the result that we needed to do. And to kill the game off in the way that we did in the first leg is going to be a godsend for us this week. So,
and it means you can just totally enjoy the second leg as well at Villa Park.
Yeah. It's going to be so stress-free when I'm at Villa Park.
Oh, yeah. And it's probably quite rare you'll have like a game of that significance, technically.
Yeah.
And just be able to enjoy it. So it's credit to them from a Villa perspective that they did the job so convincingly. And I know sometimes we have these mad, like we saw it in the League One playoffs when, who was it? Sheffield Wednesday. 4-0 down, but there's just no, it's a minor miracle if that happens.
Yeah.
Very good.
Shall we go to the Championship results? Because yet again this season, Birmingham City scored a late winner.
Yeah, mental.
Is that your third it might not be in a row. It's certainly your third, isn't it?
Well,
I count Djukovic's second goal as the winning goal. So.
Yeah, against Bristol City. Yeah, so technically, like a players came off the bench and scored late to win it or seal a win, like in 3 straight games. Yeah, it was. So that's Plymouth at home. We won 2-1 on Saturday. Weird game. It was probably up to that point, including the cup game against Cheltenham. It was on the whole definitely our weakest performance of the season so far. But we started really well. Scored an early goal. Scott Hogan finally got a goal in competitive football again. It's been ages. I think Swansea away was maybe the last game he scored in last season, and I think that was in like February or something. But no, he got on the end of a cross from Koji Miyoshi, who's been absolutely terrific since he came in. And atmosphere was really positive. We had a really good first half. And then second half was just the complete opposite. Plymouth I was kind of, last week I was saying I think Plymouth will just about stay up based on, I think it was worse teams. Maybe it was a bit unfair in hindsight because I actually thought they came out and were really good second half. Played some nice football, deservedly equalised after about an hour. I think they hit the bar just before that. And from their goal to the end of the game, it really looked, I was kind of thinking like a draw in these circumstances would not be so bad. And obviously you should be beating Plymouth at home. But I'm thinking 8 points from 4 games is still, even if they're not coming from where you expect, that's a really good return. But then Jay Sansfield, who'd signed on loan from Fulham, I think the day before, or maybe the day before that, comes off the bench. Jukovic comes off the bench. Jukovic gets a terrific assist, flicks it onto Jay Stansfield. And I don't know if you've seen the goal, the Jay Stansfield goal. Yeah. I'm sure even you'll admit it's
quality.
Outstanding.
I was going to say to you, Dan, your goal of the month competition the start of the season is like stacked.
Yeah, it's better than probably our goal of the season competition from last season. But he sort of like flicked it around the defender with his right foot and then got around the defender and just sort of lashed it in on the volley. Absolutely terrific goal, 95th minute. And I thought it really spoke volumes that we didn't even play that well. At the very least, Plymouth deserved a draw. But we still found a way to win. And that's really encouraging. I think it just kept the positive vibes going. And to have that extra striker in now, I think he plays more of a number 10 sometimes, to be fair, Stansfield. But it's another option. And it just keeps, as we get close to the first international break, I think it's just keeping all the optimism going. 2 home wins from 2 in the league, 3 out of 4. Another terrific game. And, the place was absolutely rocking at full time. And yeah, really, really pleased. And John Eustace celebrating with the fans as well. I think he's really, Eustace has always been popular with the fans, but I think he's deservedly, the fans really have taken to him. And I feel like it's gone up another level this year. I think people have been really impressed with him on the whole. I definitely have been. So yeah, terrific. Absolutely terrific.
John Eustace, in a similar sort of way, he does give me a bit of Dean Smith vibes, a little bit.
Oh, really? How so? Oh, I don't know.
Just since, like you're talking about, like the connection with the fan base and that.
I suppose, yeah.
I think growing up he was a Villa fan, but like he's a local guy, and
yes,
I think your rivalries in your jobs go out the window, especially in football.
Oh, of course. I mean, apparently Gary Rowett was a Villa fan growing up. I don't know how true that is, but it's whatever. He's a professional, and he was really.
I mean,
it was really popular.
Does it really matter if you're there and you're getting serenaded by the fans and you've started the season so well? So no, that's sort of what I meant anyway. It's like
no, completely, yeah, no, fair enough. And then again, my weekend was only ruined by again, you somehow went one better again the next day.
At least we're not doing it on the same day. At least we're
true. I can overlook it as well. I'm like, whatever. We've done our business on the Saturday. I can enjoy my weekend.
But no, Burnley away. I mean, could have been a really tough game because their start to the season is 3 home games in a row, effectively, because they didn't play in game week 2. And it was everything I expected Turf Moor to be like. It's really their start of the season. We've come on leaps and bounds in the last 12 months, but I still think we're a team that the sort, like a Burnley or like a Palace or whatever, we'll look at and go, that's only Villa. We maybe can get something.
Yeah.
Despite the fact we are one of the top 8 teams in the league. So, but yeah, we pretty much dominated the game. The first half we absolutely bossed. It was only like we came out in the start of the second half and we just didn't really get going and they scored pretty much 2 minutes into the half. So we had like a 10 to 15, 20-minute spell where like we were looked a little bit ropey, but when we got the third goal, that was it. It was game over. But there was probably some eyebrows raised at the team selection. So, I mean, it looked like a back five. Obviously, there was no Emi Martinez, so Robin Olsen was in goal. So for me, seeing the back five was like
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense for many reasons. Because one, they don't trust Robin Olsen like they do Emi Martinez, especially when they.
You hate Robin Olsen with a passion, apart from Nyland. You like you've never hated a Villa player more.
I don't know. I was never big on Houghton either,
Oh no, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
but then he scored the goal in the derby, so I have to let it slide a little bit. But
So,
Dan, I've seen some really crap goalkeepers. I've been
no, I
going
know
to
what
the
you mean.
Villa for 27 years, and the amount of crap goalkeepers is like
I think
insane.
that's one thing Blues have generally had is better key. In
Yeah,
my opinion, we've had a obviously a keeper like Martinez is like different level, but
yeah.
like and Friedel was good obviously, but Blues have had some
But like
quite
you've had Joe Hart, Ben Foster, or two.
yeah.
You had Jack Butland before when he was good.
Yeah, Thomas Kuszak,
Yeah, he was all right.
Lee Camp, Lee Safe Hands Camp. Um, so yeah,
But yeah, Olsen's not great for a number two, but it doesn't look like we're replacing him. So it is what it is, and he'll probably play on Thursday. So, but yeah, we played the back five because it makes sense. Because if we play the high line in the four, and and we get caught out, the, Robin Olsen's not going to make the saves that Emi Martinez will.
of
Um,
course.
and he also can't play out from the back very well, and so you have to sort of compensate for that. But it also meant that Matty Cash was actually sort of playing in midfield, a bit like how John Stones has been playing in midfield for Pep almost. It was a bit weird, really. But man, he was on the money, Dan, because he got 2 goals.
Fair enough. Yeah, when I saw that, I was slightly surprised, I must say.
I couldn't
Attacking
believe it.
maestro, Matty Cash.
And it absolutely saved my fantasy Premier League week as well, that
Really?
brace. It
I
completely
haven't even
saved it.
I haven't even checked mine since week one.
But
I just
yeah.
checked the team. I haven't checked it since. Pretty sure I had Lukaku up front.
um, but yeah, he was brilliant. But the last time he played sort of further, obviously when he was at Forest until his last season there, he was a winger. And then he was, I think Sambi Labucci made him a right back, and he had a good season. We bought him. The only other time he's actually played not as a wing back or a full back was when he played the same position against Wolves at home last year, and he was dreadful.
Oh, right.
And either him or Ashley Young, one of them got subbed at half time so that the other one could play right back because it just wasn't working. So, but clearly he's come on leaps and bounds, and he was a winger, so he can finish. I know he didn't have composure against Newcastle when he had a great chance, but he's always. I think we said before, like he would suit, and him, Luca Dean as well. They do suit that sort of wing back style where you don't have to be a great defender, and you don't have to be an amazing attacker. You can be, a good solid player, but you don't have to be amazing in your position. I mean, Victor Moses was a great wing back, wasn't he, for
Oh
Chelsea?
yeah,
And you'd
absolutely.
say
Yeah.
he was a bang average player, really. So
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much. Just using them in the right way, isn't it? Of course.
yeah. The only things really coming out of the game that I'm not, that really highlighted Musa Diaby. I think, big money buy, attacking player. He's really hit the ground running. 2 goals. And did he get an assist? No, I think it's just 2 goals in the opening 3 games, which is a very good return, really, for a new player in the league. And he's got that blistering turn of speed, and he could have a really, really big season for us, which is really exciting. And he's
Yeah,
linking up very well with Ollie Watkins. So that's something to watch. The only maybe criticism I had was maybe like Pau Torres on the ball. Excellent. Absolutely incredible. But he just needs to be a bit stronger. And it will take a bit of time. La Liga is so different, and international football's so different to the Premier League. But like, Turf Moor away. I mean, maybe it's not the Burnley that we know and love,
no,
but
yeah,
like you think, some of these like Premier League teams, they're like hard as nails. They will just like some of them strikers will use their strength against you, and he just needs to be a bit stronger, really,
Yeah,
because he should have done a bit better for the goal. But otherwise, it'll come, and he's a quality player. So it's all smiles for us. So,
good. Well, not
but
good, bad for me,
yeah,
but
but the
it's
games come
good
thick and fast.
absolutely. And I think I said last week, it's about like for me, it's always just aim to win your home games, aim to draw your away games, unless it's
Yeah,
like for you, if it's like a Luton or someone who you definitely should be beating away. Um, to go to any of these grounds, I know Burnley are newly promoted, but to go to any of them and win, and by 2 goals as well, I think is
yeah,
really. And Burnley are good, man. I think they'll do well this year. I don't think. Who knows? I don't see them being in any real danger of going down. They had 2 weeks rest on you, pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
So no, I think to go there and get 3 points is a very good return.
And the Aston Villa of old would have gone 2-0 up, conceded a goal after half time, and lost 3-2. It's just what we would have done in the past, as whereas, and even then, when we do go 2-1 down, and all of a sudden the crowd are up, you're like, oh God, we're going to do
Yeah,
it. It's going to happen again.
yeah,
But
sure.
because I remember in the lockdown season, we went to Turf Moor and battered them and were 1-0 up and 2-1 up and lost the game. And like we played them off the park.
You was it at Burnley? I could have this completely wrong. Did you go there and win? Like Wesley scored a couple.
Yes, we won two. We were 2-0 up that day, conceded a goal, and then
What year
Tom
was that?
Heaton and Wesley did their ACLs, and we clinged on for a
Oh wow!
2-1.
And what year was that? Like 2020?
That was New Year's Day 2020.
Gosh, wow, feels like a long time ago now. Yeah, I don't know why I remember that. Pretty sure we lost 3-2 at home to Wigan that day. I remember it. Yeah, not our
Oh,
finest.
we've had some bad results at Wigan. I can
Soon to be
relate.
relegated Wigan at home. Not great. But
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Do you want to talk about the Carabao Cup, Dan? Because obviously you played last night. I'd say you would probably. I don't know about you, but like, if we were to draw a Premier League team, I'd be a bit like, oh God, here we go. And I mean, I
Yeah.
guess there are a handful of Premier League teams, but to draw a Championship team, he's kind of a bit like, oh.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like it was an extra home game, a night game, so we kind of got to see all the new work on the outside of the stadium all lit up and everything. So that was really cool. Like the big badge they put on the outside of the stadium and all that. Seeing it its first night game was really cool. And so yeah, from that perspective, like don't get me wrong, I'm happy you get a home draw, an extra game to go to on a after work, something to look forward to. But yeah, we seem to get really just generic cup draws over and over. Cheltenham, I was looking forward to, and I was good I didn't get to go to that. Because I think I said last week, I went to uni down there, so I was really looking forward to that one. But then yeah, we seem to get loads of championship teams. Like we had Blackburn in the FA Cup last year, which I think is just the most like what the most
Very
minute.
bland, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the only times we've had a good draw in the last few years, we had Man City away, but that was in lockdown, so we couldn't even go. And even Man City, I don't think has that. It's not like getting Man United, is it? I don't know. There's still something about it, in my opinion. It's not quite the same. But anyway, decent game on the whole. Honestly, like it's our first loss of the season. So obviously we're at the cup. We lost 3-1 at home, but we went 1-0 down really early. First half, Cardiff were undoubtedly the better team. Really surprised by them. They looked, and especially seeing as they seem to have some players out as well. And Aaron Ramsey wasn't anywhere near the squad, but they were really good. I thought they looked really on it, really strong, first to every ball, dominated possession. So I was kind of surprised by them because I've heard a lot of kind of negative like
Well,
expectations of them this year.
yeah, I mean, I watched them when they played Leeds. Might have been the opening weekend or the second
Yeah,
game of the season or whatever. And they should have won that game, but because they were, I think they were 2-0 up at half time,
yeah, yeah,
and they drew 2-2. But I thought they were excellent. The bits I saw of them, I thought they were excellent, and they just seem to be a team, at least in the first few games of the season, where they've actually played really well. They just haven't been able to pick up the points, or like they've just leaked a few goals, and
yeah.
like
And it was but no, they were really. I was really surprised with them. I thought they were really good. We made a few changes. Obviously, like Neil Etheridge came in, Manuel Longello started. A left back, Marcel Oakley came in at right back. He's not made many starts at all. But I'm all for that. Like I don't mind. Not even I don't know. I just like seeing some of these players giving a go and Jordan James got to start. George Hall got his first start of the season. Stansfield started. Jukovic started. So I don't know. I kind of think it's interesting to see these players in action. And then second half we came out and were better and looked more up for it and were creating chances. And so it was never. I was never overly frustrated by the game. It was kind of I thought it was a decent performance, but then at 1-0, Jukovic got sent off, which is not ideal, obviously. And it didn't look like a red card to me at the time. So he's had a challenge put on him and he's gone down. And then I think out of pure frustration, he sort of dived a leg in to get back at the ball as the player's getting away from him. And he's nowhere near the ball. It's a stupid thing to do. It's definitely a yellow. But I don't think it was. I think a red is really harsh, and I've seen it back. And the only camera angle you can see it from is you can't really see like
It's the
or
it's the
like
camera one position, is it? On
yeah,
the halfway line.
like pretty much yeah. And it's
Yeah.
not. I can't tell like if he's gone in with his studs and it's high or whatever, then maybe. But just I can't see that. And interestingly, it's the same ref who sent off. We played Coventry away a couple of years ago, and Ryan Woods got sent off for quite a cynical challenge, where a player was getting away from him and he basically like kicked him, and it's a stupid thing to do, but it's never a red. It's like it's never a red. I remember the game was live on Sky, and all the pundits afterwards were like, "Never a red card." It's the same ref, so I don't know. Maybe there's, I don't know. Maybe that's just I don't know. I thought it was an interesting coincidence, possibly. I'm not one to like slag off refs, but he did seem to constantly. He was not good in my opinion. He did a pretty poor job. Just constantly just disrupting the flow of the game, giving free kicks for kind of anything really, which is kind of something that football seems to be getting away from in this country and letting the game flow a lot more. He seemed like a ref from like a couple of years ago, and the sort of that mentality of like like the rhythm to the game just constantly being stopped. So as I say, from my perspective, didn't seem like a red, seemed harsh. But Blues have said today that they're not going to be appealing it. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I
It's
don't really
probably only a
know.
one game ban anyway, so it might
No,
not even be
it's
worth it.
three.
Is
No,
it
it's just
three?
three. Yeah, because I think it'd be considered like violent conduct or whatever, which is really frustrating because Duke has started the season so well. And with the international break, you're looking at like a month of him before he plays again, which is really annoying. So then we're down to 10 men, and then Cardiff get a second goal, well worked goal as well. But then we make a few subs. Hogan comes on, gets another goal. Kind of did really well to just. It weirdly looked better with when we went down to 10 men. We just maybe it's because we were losing as well, and we like by 2 goals, and we were just really going for it a lot more. Pull that goal back, and we're just really going for it. And so in the last couple of minutes, Cardiff went up the other end and got another goal on the counter. So definitely the better team won on the night. Frustrating to be out of the cup, because more than most clubs, we should know how good like a cup like the League Cup can be for a team. And but not the end of the world. Decent game, decent crowd for a cup game as well. So no, I'm not too downbeat about it. And we had a lot of the first team players not on the main starting 11 players not on the pitch. I think once they're all back and we got our strongest 11 back playing, I think we'll be really promising this season still. So no, disappointing, but not the end of the world. Cool. Shall we move on to some transfer talk? Obviously, it's deadline day in a couple of days on Friday, I think.
I'll be honest with you, Dan. I'll be glad when we can stop talking about transfers.
Yeah, I much preferred it when it closed before the season started.
I mean, why is the transfer window still open 3 weeks? It's just
It's for like a month. Yeah, it's into the
yeah.
season. Crazy.
Well, I
There's
just
some
think
clubs then, I
like
think.
Salah's been like heavily linked with the Saudi league, and that window closes a week after the Premier League window. Liverpool might lose their best player and literally not be able to replace him.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
I just
yeah, I don't know. It's all a bit of a mess. It goes on way too long, and I've always said the January window goes on too long in my opinion as well.
yeah.
Should just be maybe the first 2 weeks of January or something. I think a full month I think is ridiculous, really. But yeah, has there been any real transfer speculation at Villa as we go into the last couple of days?
A lot of speculation around Felipe Coutinho. It sounds like this Qatari side are trying to get him. Um, I don't really want to see him go because he has. When we've had him fit in the last 6 to 8 months, he's actually looked really, really good. He had a decent preseason, but if this Qatari side are going to pay like 20 million quid, we're going to make back what we spent on him. Barcelona have a 50% sell on for any profit we make. So if we just make our money back on him, that's like null and
Sure.
void. And also, like we said with Luka Dean, he's on astronomical wages for a player that doesn't really make the starting 11. And so when you sort of weigh it up like that, I think from a financial point of view, there's no club in the Premier League going to pay 20 million quid and pay the wages that he wants. So these Qatari or Saudi teams are the place to sort of send him if we're going to get rid of him. But so he's sort of one to watch, I think. But if he goes, he needs replacing.
True. I was saying last week, I thought he'd already got.
Yeah.
It just seemed like players who would have gone to Saudi Arabia already. As you mentioned, it's a Qatari side that are in for him instead, which is interesting.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, if you make your money back, I think it'd be pretty sensible. I can understand why you wouldn't want him to go. Obviously, a player of his ability, and obviously the excitement when he came in and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't begrudge them if they did move him on.
Yeah, it would, financially it does sort of make sense. But then you got to replace him, and there are some good players out there that might be available. I mean, there's a few rumors around like the likes of someone like Emil Smith-Rowe. I mean, if you could get rid of Coutinho and get him in, like, just do it.
No,
Like,
I
that'd be
mean, the age thing alone as well is much
yeah.
younger. But no, sorry,
that's a bad time to drink for me. But then in terms of incomings, one that's kind of caught most of us by surprise, it's all but announced really. Clement Longley is coming from Barcelona. He was on loan at Tottenham last year. He's not really a player that I've kind of spoke highly of in the last couple of years, but clearly he's a target that Monchi, the sporting director, and Unai Emery want. So I guess we trust them, but I was never really convinced by him at Barcelona. I thought he played in that. I think he played in that 8-2 against Bayern, and he was dreadful.
Yeah.
He played at the Euros. I think he played when they got knocked out against Switzerland in the Euros. I didn't think he was great. I don't think he was great at Tottenham last year. But I guess if we at the weekend, especially now Tyrone Mings is out for the season, we played all three of our main centre backs and Matty Cash and Luke Dean. So if we're going to play all three centre backs, we need depth and we need cover. And so he's a player that is half decent on the ball. He can play out from the back, and I think he's left-footed, so he sort of covers that Mings sort of player, left-footed centre back. He's not going to be. It's a loan. There's no obligation or even an option, I don't think, to buy. So in terms of a loan, I think there's worse players we could actually go and get on a loan, even though I've just sort of said all the things that I think he's rubbish at. But I think you understand where I'm coming from. There's much worse players we can go and get out on loan. So he must have been half decent for Barcelona to have bought him, you'd think, in the first place. So
yeah, for sure. On a side note, you mentioned that Switzerland-France game from Euro 2020. Oh man, that's one of the best games I've ever seen. Outrageous, 3-3. Incredible game. Yeah, Blues. We've had. So I mentioned Teddy Mengi last week as possible centre back. That's all gone very quiet. Actually, I haven't actually heard anything since. So I don't know if that was all just something on Mengi's side or something, or if there was anything to it at all.
Yeah.
All gone very quiet. Obviously, we brought Stansfield in. The big rumour, though, this week has been to do with Fabrizio Romano, Birmingham City, just the other day, and it looks like I've had to get his name up because my pronunciation of the surname I'm not sure on. Emmanuel Aiwu, Aiwu. So he's Austrian, and he is a centre back, I believe, but I'm told he can also play as a right back, and he plays for Cremonese in Serie B. He's 22. He's over 6 foot. He's about 6'1", 6'2", and we really need cover at centre back and right back. Ethan Laird's been injured the last few
I was
games
just
at
about to
right back,
say, yeah.
so we've been Bakuna's been playing at right back, and he's actually done well in the circumstance. And I thought Oakley did well in the circumstance. Had a rough start, but did well the other night there as well. But it's so clearly an area teams are going to target. So if he could come in as like cover for both, or maybe start in one and be cover for the other if ever needed, could be really beneficial. But Fabrizio Romano was tweeting that we're apparently going to be paying like £3 million for him, which is way more than how much
It's
we pay
quite a
for
lot
anyone.
for you guys, really, these
Yeah,
days.
for sure. And like Tom Wagner's been very open about saying, all our spending we've got to be within the parameters of the EFL and everything. And I know we've supposedly had this money coming from Jude Bellingham's transfer to Real Madrid, but I'm told that money, from what it sounds like, that money's just going towards keeping. I'm pretty sure Tom Wagner said this money's just going towards keeping the club going. Basically,
Yeah.
that's hadn't happened, we'd have been in huge trouble. But we were chatting about this just because Fabrizio tweeted about it doesn't mean it's happening. There was the thing last year where he tweeted that Josh Maja, who was at Sunderland, I think he was at Bordeaux. Apparently
Yeah, well, he tweeted that Jack Harrison was joining us a few weeks ago, and then he's gone to
yeah,
Everton. So
we were. I can't remember where I heard this, but like, Fabrizio Romano is like like clubs and agents pay him and stuff to tweet stuff. If it like that Maja thing was like, I'm pretty sure that was Blues just trying to stir something up, and Josh Maja knew nothing about it. And he tweeted that he was signing for us. It was just absolute nonsense. So I'm not. If it is happening, I'm not fully convinced. £3 million is that sounds like quite a lot, to be honest. But it would be really interesting if he did come in. We definitely need cover. Although Mark Roberts is back fit now, played a bit the other night, but that could be interesting for sure. So be interesting to see how he adapts from Serie B, obviously second division in Italy, to the second division in England. Be a very different. I think it'd be a step up for sure. So no, that would be interesting. And then otherwise, not heard too much about any outgoings. But be really interested to see on deadline day. I wouldn't be surprised if something completely random came up. And
well,
I could
the
see.
Athletic confirmed, right? The Athletic
Oh
sort
yeah,
of confirmed today that you are interested in Keinan Davis, as are
yeah,
many Championship clubs, but Blues are confirmed to be interested. We spoke about this the other week, and we're like, that
yeah.
can't be true. But
I mean, it'd be like it. I think he would actually be. I don't think he'd be terrible in our team. I don't.
no,
He'd
not
actually
at
be
all.
decent. He's young. He's fast.
Strong.
Um, strong. I think we could do a lot worse. It's just more like,
The
is he a Villa fan?
baggage.
He's from Birmingham? Is he like
No, we signed him into the academy from like Biggleswade or something. But
right?
he sort of came through our academy, and his whole career's really been with us. And
Yeah, it's more like and he's obviously, obviously nothing wrong with him being at Villa, but obviously he's quite, did that thing where he shushed the Blues fans at
yeah,
Forest and stuff, and like whatever. But I'd be interested to see if even though Stansfields came in, if that's something they still go for.
yeah.
But I think we did have a four of Duke, Hogan, Stansfield, and Davis as your four striker options. That
In the
pretty,
championship, it's not bad, is it? Really?
no, no, especially seeing as Duke has been so good this season as well. And I wonder if I know we got Cosgrove as well, but I just can't see him playing much at all. Um, and obviously Duke being out for a few, I wonder if like Duke being out for a few games now will
Yeah,
accelerate their need. Like I don't know, it's short term, but I wonder if that would accelerate their desire to get another striker in. I'd
yeah.
be surprised if it happened personally, but
I think I would as well, really. But then I suppose if he's obviously already lives in the area, 'cause he's been with us for so
yeah,
many years, so you know,
no, not impossible. I wasn't like too shocked to hear it was genuine and that there was genuine interest and so on.
but
But yeah, that's transfers. Shall we look ahead to this weekend?
yeah, I think this is going to be the weekend of real frustration, purely because of the timings of the games and the
Oh,
broadcasting or lack
Sunday,
of.
Sunday again. Yeah.
So our game against Hibs on Thursday or tomorrow is not on telly. You can buy
Right.
a match pass on Villa TV if you aren't going to the game for like £5. Um, your game against Millwall is at 12:30 on Saturday and is
Yes.
not on telly. It's one of three early
No.
kickoffs and it's not on Sky.
What, three in all in the championship? Yeah, the
Yeah, all
kickoffs.
at 12:30. And
Oh,
the Southampton match is on Sky Sports, I believe. Yours isn't. And then our game at 2 o'clock on Sunday isn't on telly again against Liverpool because Sky is showing Palace versus bloody Wolves. What a crap game that's going to be.
they baffle me. So a team like Liverpool, who are on almost every week
Yeah.
as well, and the one week they've got to be on the Sunday, it's bizarre. Yeah. I think with our game, I assume it's policing that is why they're moving it. I assume because Millwall, isn't it? They tend to not. The last few
Yeah.
years, they put it on like a night game just so people. I assume because fans travel less if it's on like a Tuesday night, less kind of away fans and stuff. Um, but yeah, obviously you got the Hibs game. You've got the Hibs game first. You're actually going as well, right?
Yeah, first game of the season for me. Which is going to be exciting. Get to hear that amazing Europa League anthem, um,
Yes.
which is a
It is pretty
bop.
good. I like the Europa League
Yeah,
anthem.
it's
It's
better
better
than
than the
the
Champions
Champions
League.
League anthem. It's a proper bop.
Ooh, ooh. Yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah, so that'll be quite fun to hear that in the stadium. But I think, like we said earlier, it's a game where we can just go and enjoy, and the atmosphere should be pretty good. And I mean, I went to the cup game against Liverpool a few years ago when they were in the Club World Cup, so I played their under
Uh,
18s or whatever, and we
yeah.
went reasonably strong. And won 5-0. And like it was just an enjoyable, stress-free game, but they had a couple of chances, but so
I
um
mean, from your perspective as well, imagine if you did win by another few goals
yeah.
and you get this aggregate score up to like 8-9-0. Like obviously I hope that doesn't happen, but
Yeah.
that'd be I mean, that'd be
As a stadium experience would be
just
pretty
gonna
cool.
breed confidence, you know.
Yeah. And so just go and win the game, even if it is like a pretty dull 2 or 3-0, whatever. Because the Conference League draw is on the Friday for the group
Right.
stage. So that's going to be really, really exciting. Um, and then, so we'll see. I think I don't think we'll go weak, but I think we'll make quite a few changes.
Yeah,
If that
sure.
makes
I think
sense.
it makes sense. Why wouldn't you play a few of the younger players,
Yeah.
mix them in with a few of the more experienced ones? It's
There's no need to
perfect.
risk Emmy Martinez. You can play
Yeah.
Robin Olsen. It's fine. You can play John Duran. You don't need to play Watkins. Um, Callum Chambers will probably get a game. Yuri Tielemans will start.
Yeah.
Bailey probably will play. But I don't think there'll be many changes past that.
No.
Yeah, because obviously we've got Liverpool at the weekend, which is going to be, we're going to need to be really on it, especially off the back of their last minute turnaround against Newcastle. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, all smiles. So, Millwall at 12:30. I assume you're going at St Andrews.
Yeah, yeah, I'll be there. As you say, it's the early game, which is fine. Suits me fine. Don't really mind. Um, yeah, interesting. So we've had 3 home games in a week this week. Um, I'm pretty confident. Obviously, Gary Rowett's at Millwall now. Who weird? Some Blues fans don't seem to be a fan of Rowett nowadays. Seems kind of turned on him a bit, but I don't get that at all. He's one of my favourite Blues managers we've had. I think he's terrific. I think he's absolutely terrific for us. But it's Millwall at the weekend. They beat Stoke at home, I think. But their start to the season has been very up and down. They've kind of, I think they're like, I think they're like 11th or 12th at the minute, and a very mixed sort of bag. And it seems like the fans are maybe turning on them a little bit. I think they lost to Bristol City at home a couple of weeks ago with like a late goal, and the fans, I think they're kind of sick of, they always finish like 7th or 8th under
Yeah.
Rowett, and for the reputation Rowett's got, hasn't he? I don't know if he's ever got a team into the Championship playoffs.
Did he,
Uh,
um,
maybe
did he
with
get
Derby,
Derby? No, maybe
maybe.
no. Did he not? I can't
Anyway,
remember.
he's not. He might have once or twice, but he's never been one to like get that final step done. So I'm pretty confident, but obviously Millwall are very. They come, tend to take a a rowdy away crowd and tends to have a bit of a ruckus. And you never know with them, and you never know with Rowett teams. They are capable of just completely disrupting you. But it'd be interesting to see. I think a few of our players are going to be still injured. Tyler Roberts, I think, still going to be out. Ethan Laird's definitely still going to be out. Probably Dembele. Not 100% sure. I know. I'd imagine he'll be out. So we might be able to, obviously Jukovic is going to be suspended, but we can still mostly play our first team. Obviously from the other night, Ruddy will come back in. Buchanan will come back in at left back. Bielik missed the game the other night, so it'd be good for him to slot back in. Sunjic looks so much better with Bielik. I noticed Sunjic wasn't as effective the other night, I didn't think, with Bakuna alongside him. So no, I'm pretty confident. Hogan getting 2 goals as well in the last couple of games. Hopefully just keeps his confidence going. He is that kind of player where a couple of goals in quick succession, he can go on a really good run.
Yeah.
So I hope that starts now. But it'd be great if we got another win going into the international break with 13 points from 5 games would be outrageous. Like that'd be absolutely incredible. I wonder how. I'm just going to quickly look up. I wonder how long it took us to get to that last season. Yeah, so just looked it up. It took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think it took us 11 games and until the 1st of October last year to get to 13 points. And bear in mind, last season started. Say the 1st of October. Last season started early as well because of the World Cup. If we did that within 5 games before the first international break, what an improvement that would be. But even if that didn't happen, say we drew, like I was saying before the Plymouth game, also think you should always aim to win your home games. Even if we drew, what would that be? 9 points? No, will be 11 points from 5 games. It's still absolutely outstanding from some tough games as well, like Leeds, and Bristol City away is a tough game as well. Swansea, so that'd be an outstanding return. So yeah, win. I think we will win. I think we could win, but a draw would be decent as well. Millwall always a banana skin game.
Dan, I think we're coming towards the end of today's episode. What do you say?
Yeah, it sounds about right to me. We will be back in the international break. We're going to probably try something a little bit different. I'm sure we will react to these results in some form, but we're going to try something a little bit different as well. So look forward to that. We won't say exactly what yet because we haven't fully worked it out ourselves.
Yeah.
But no, we definitely got something planned, something a little bit different.
Yeah, we're not just going to be sat here for half an hour talking about friendlies and whatever.
No, yeah, I love nothing I love more in football than like a World Cup or a Euros. But let's be honest, players are pretty dross. Let's be honest. I'll still keep an eye on it and stuff, but it's not. But anyway, if you have enjoyed today's podcast, please do subscribe on whichever podcasting platform you're listening on.
And like we said earlier, while you're at it, give us a 5-star review.
You can also follow us on Twitter or X, TikTok, and YouTube.
And you can find us with the handle at Second City Pod.
That's Second City Pod, as in 2ND.
And yeah, if you want to find all our links all in one place, the Second City is 2ND City Pod. Our link tree has every link you could possibly want accessible there.
And we're on every podcasting platform under them to check us out.
I had an email from one called Bullhorn saying, "Oh, we've got your podcast." Like, I've never even heard of you, but okay.
Everyone listens to us on Bullhorn. No one on Spotify.
Yeah.
Bullhorn. I've never heard of Bullhorn either.
But we're very close to breaking into the top 100 sports and recreation podcasts on Apple Podcasts. I think it was something crazy like that.
What?
Let me double check. I'm gonna have to read this bit.
Worldwide.
So that's in the United Kingdom. That was it.
That's pretty good. Really?
So yeah, we've peaked at 107 on the Apple Podcast chart in the United Kingdom for sports under football. So let's push it up.
For a couple of weeks' work, not too bad. Let's keep it going.
Which is why it's important to subscribe and rate, because then it's going to push it up in the algorithms.
100%. Well, thank you for your time anyway, Cal. Enjoy the game on Thursday.
Yeah, hopefully you enjoy Millwall at home.
It's always one. Yeah. Always one that you mark on the calendar. Millwall. Always interesting.
The glamour tie.
Yeah, we played them a couple of years ago at home, and we drew 2-2, and it was absolute carnage. So hopefully not again. I tend to keep my head down when they come around. But yeah. Cool. Take it anyway, easy, Cal. See you next week.
See you next week, Dan.